Okay, hello everyone, and happy Friday. I thought that I would get started a little bit early and maybe we can do a little pregame ahead of the launch together on this Friday. So, we are gearing up for the Atlas V proto flights. This is, of course, for Amazon's Project Kuiper, which is the rival or supposedly going to be the rival to Starlink. Now, many of you know me through my Starlink coverage. That's how I got my start on Ellie in Space. Of course, I take interest in the other guy, in Amazon and what they're trying to do. A lot of people have not really expressed much interest in this, or they wonder why Amazon is still going through with this when Starlink already has a much more robust constellation. Heck, they already have satellites in low Earth orbit, over 5,000 satellites in low Earth orbit. And Project Kuiper aims to have at least 3,200. But again, this is day one of launching two prototypes, and we're going to be watching that United Launch Alliance ULA launch here. So hello, everyone. Thanks for joining me. We have about 30 minutes until the launch. So I wanted to hop on here and talk about a few other things that caught my attention, most notably the Elon Musk discussion yesterday during the IAC conference. Got some not so rave reviews. So while we're kind of waiting and I'm going to be sharing the ULA stream, we can take a look at the article that came out today from Ars Technica. And I kind of agree with Ars Technica in saying that it was quite, I don't know, a boring discussion. And so it makes you wonder if Elon had certain parameters that maybe he said, hey, don't ask me, short-term timeline questions. You can ask me about when we're going to land on Mars, but let's not talk about, I don't know, the Fish and Wildlife Service hang-up that we're all upset about. I think we're all pretty upset about that. I wanted to say hello to some of you. By the way, Angry Astronaut will be doing his own stream. I asked if we could co-stream, and he said that he just didn't have time to make it work today. So if you choose to watch him over me, I won't be offended. I planned this on my own. I was like, you know what? I should do a live stream. I haven't done a live stream in a while, and the less you do it, I feel like you get kind of rusty. So, Uncle Yukon, hello. Thank you for joining. We have Bobby saying good morning, sunshine. It is exciting that it's Friday. John Hogan says hi. Ocean 55, heya. Al says hi. Al's in the house. Ross, recently I actually shipped a shirt to Ross, who is in the UK, because I had a contest on my X account and he won. So guess how much it costs to ship a shirt to the UK from Texas? Not that that's a big deal. It was almost like surprising to me because I've never shipped anything overseas. Marco is in the house from California. El Hungaro is waiting in the backyard, so he must be in the Florida area. And I think this is funny. The Blakester, who has been a longtime supporter of Ellie in Space, says, well, let's just not talk about the payload. But in fact, that is kind of why this launch really caught my attention. Project Kuiper has been something that I've been following for a few years now. I think really in 2021 is when I started following it. And so we've been waiting for this moment for a while for them to, get the first step, which is launching the two prototype satellites. And I wanted to show you guys, I did a video a few months ago. Okay, we got some guesses for the shirts. Let's see. So, okay, so $25 to $30 USPS, a little more than that. $78, not quite that high. That'd be pretty nuts. $50, that's pretty close. So it was $42, which was really interesting. So anyway, Greg, thank you. He says he didn't even realize this was today. It is today. And yes, we're going to talk about Project Kuiper. And I did want to go over, I made a video a few months ago, actually, while I was still on my walker. It was funny looking back at that, but I was talking about Amazon unveiled what their user terminals are going to look like, right? So that is the version of the Dishy McFlatface, or, the rectangular Starlink terminals that you may have at home. So Project Kuiper, Amazon is revealing what theirs are going to look like. So I'm going to share those slides a little bit. But let's get this Starship chat out of the way, because I think it is worth noting here. Look at this. Look at this headline: the world's largest space conference succeeds in making a Starship update boring. Not a very pleasant headline, but I have to say, I agree. And my cat is scratching at the door, so I'm going to go lock him in another room. Don't go anywhere. Please don't go anywhere. And I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Sorry, everyone. Here's the problem, because I have people tell me to just let my cat be a part of it. He jumps on the desk, and what happens? This happens. So he jumps on the desk. There's stuff on my desk. He knocks it over. But otherwise, he scratches, and I don't want to listen to that. Okay, so he did do nothing wrong, but he can't be a part of this live stream. I'm sorry. I need to perform my best for you today. And that is not going to be it. And thank you for saying my hair is amazing. I took the time to curl it because why not? It's Friday. Yes, the cat will sit in my lap for a little bit, but then he doesn't. And good morning to you, Steve. So let's get into this article. I don't know if you guys watched the conference. Look at it. It even says a non-update. They're really, really slamming this discussion, and I kind of understand it, but wow. So a non-update: world's largest space conference succeeds in making a Starship update boring. In a much anticipated Starship Q&A, no one asked about the stuff we all want to know, which is true. In fact, I didn't watch the entire presentation for that reason. I kind of felt like I'm like, okay, I've heard all of these questions and answers, most of them at least. One of the interesting things that I heard from Elon was that he is saying, hey, Starbase is pretty amazing. And if you get the chance to go down there, you should go down there because you can literally see it from the side of the road. And he's right. So a lot of people ask me who have never been to Starbase, they're like, well, do I need to book a tour, or how exactly does this work? Are we allowed to go down there? Absolutely. At the end of the highway is a public beach. So you're absolutely allowed to go down there. And Elon's right saying that, you can see this a stone's throw from the road. So it is worth the, sorry, I'm reading some of the comments. Someone said that they left because I took my cat out of the room. You guys, I'm telling you, it is a distraction to have him jumping on the table or scratching. So anyway, if you guys haven't made the trip down to Starbase, even Elon says, and he said it yesterday, no permission is required. So that is not a concern that some people have. However, there aren't, tours inside of the factory like we would all want. Strangely enough, because we're talking about, Amazon today, and Blue Origin is Jeff Bezos' rocket company. I've been able to get a tour of Blue Origin in Florida. Now, I wasn't able to film anything beyond the lobby, but that's, very interesting to me because I've never had a tour in SpaceX. And that's mostly what I focus on. So maybe someday we will see that happen. For example, if you're interested in Tesla stuff, now you can potentially get a tour of the Gigafactory, and it doesn't have to only be during a major event like a shareholder meeting, because now they're offering it as a reward. So if you refer Teslas or make Tesla referrals, Tesla sales, you get some points in your account and you can put that 15,000 credits toward a tour of a gigafactory. So how great would it be if we could see that same model applied to Starbase? That would be awesome. So potentially we'll get to see that someday, but it's hard to know when that will be. Yeah, Al says when you land the Elon interview, you can ask for a Starbase tour. I mean, it would be great to do the interview that I would love to do down at Starbase. I think that, when the time is right, it's going to happen. And I hear that, okay, so Tesla removed the offer of a factory tour. I think that's because they sold out of the initial ones, and they're probably, I would guess that they're going to repopulate that when they can meet the demand, because there is some demand. Thank you for enjoying my content. So let's get back to this article, because it's not very nice. So once again, we see an article where the interviewer is being criticized for not being creative enough. You have one of the most prominent people in the world to interview, and why are you asking him questions about what will happen years in the future? I have a feeling that maybe this was something where Elon potentially told him before, hey, I'm not going to answer any near-term questions about the status of the Fish and Wildlife Review. I want to know what you guys think. I'm sure a lot of you guys watched this presentation, and we saw a few months ago when Ashley Vance, an author who wrote a recent book, I think it's When the Heavens Went on Sale, and he did an interview on X, and Elon ended up terminating the interview because he didn't like the questions that were being asked. Ashley Vance is going off topic, and that kind of pissed him off. So I wonder if maybe there were some parameters put in place, but we got the classic question, oh, when are we going to land Starship on Mars? Okay, so 2026 or 2027. And then obviously that could be Elon time, but it's one of those timelines that if you've read the Elon Musk biography, which I'm almost done with, that's just, what he does. He sets these extremely unrealistic timelines, but that causes a massive surge in the workplace, and you're going to get closer to the unrealistic timeline than if it was just a no real urgency or deadline here. So I didn't watch the whole discussion. I read this article, and it really sounded like a lot of what we already know, which is kind of disappointing, although it did seem like Elon was in a pretty good mood. It's interesting that he wasn't there in person. In fact, this is something that I thought about going to. I'm also a little bummed because the Mars Society Conference is going on right now, October 5th through the 8th. And I was on the fence about going to that. I would have loved to interview Robert Zubrin in person. And there was even a call for submissions. And I thought about potentially giving a talk kind of about my perspective as a journalist, and like this, larger question of why aren't people talking about Starship more? Why aren't more people tuned into what's going on? I think that is something that I might potentially do next year. They hold a conference every year, and I feel like that's something that, would be a really interesting discussion. But I didn't go because later this month, I have the Ascend Space Conference that's coming up pretty soon in Las Vegas. And then directly after that, I'm flying back to Austin on a Wednesday, and I'm driving out to Houston for the 2-day zero-G experience, which I'm extremely excited for. There are a couple seats left on that flight, and again, a modified Boeing 727, where we are going to do 15 parabolas and experience weightlessness and feel what it's like to be an astronaut. In fact, we can simulate different kinds of gravity, which is pretty interesting. And I've learned that possibly 2 of my subscribers will be joining me, which is really, really cool. I'm honored. Potentially they're just doing it to join Doug Hurley and Nicole Stott and Charlie Duke, but maybe they're doing it to join me too. I don't know, but it should be a very fun experience. But for that reason, and I just got back from Europe and Portland, I didn't want to over travel and get burned out again, because I've done that in the past. Let me read some of the comments because I am just rambling. I am just rambling. Let's go back to some full screen here. So again, we are about 19 minutes away. So I will be sharing that screen soon with the launch. And let's talk a little bit more about the launch today. But yes, Brian Kelsey says you should have gone. You have great perspective and it would have been a good topic. I think that there is an opportunity next year. And the part of the reason too is that I found out that there was this call for submissions 3 days before the deadline. So I don't want to just, kind of put something together. I want to have it, planned out. And so I think next year we're going to do that. Joe asks a good question. I will start by saying that my discount code will save $1,000 off of this flight. However, it's about $13,000, maybe $13,500 to do this experience. It is over the course of 2 days. And again, it's not cheap. It's cheaper than, let's say, a Blue Origin seat. But it is not super cheap. However, my 2 friends and subscribers will be able to save $1,000. So that's significant to me. But it's good to know that you guys have some interest in the Mars Society presentations. And so, yes, Mars conference would have been amazing. Well, I'm hoping to get some great interviews at the AIAA Ascend Space Conference. Back in January, I was at the SciTech Forum, also put on by AIAA, and I was able to interview William Gerstenmaier, aka Gerst. He is a longtime former NASA employee who's now with SpaceX, and that is the first time that I've interviewed anyone who actively works for SpaceX. So I'm looking forward to that, and I'm hoping that that will at least be one interview that hopefully piques your interest. Let's see. So thank you guys. Sorry, I'm just reading some of your comments. Yes, I am aware that Everyday Astronaut got a tour. Now, here's my, I've been thinking about this. I'm like, okay, well, that's already been done, this tour of Starbase. There is a Starlink facility that looks pretty near completion here in Bastrop County, Texas. And I think that it would be really interesting if Elon wanted to do the interview there, especially to focus on Starlink. They have a beautiful building. In fact, in the entrance or the lobby, they have a neon sign that is the Hohmann transfer orbit in the front entryway. So, and you can see that from the outside because it's glass, like many of the buildings, including Giga Texas. So I think that it would be really cool if potentially he agreed to show us inside the Starlink facility. John Wolf wants to know, am I going to film the airplane ride? Yes, I am. Absolutely, I'm going to. I wish that I could live stream, but I don't think that's going to be a possibility. I don't think Starlink is on this plane. By the way, this is a crazy looking bruise. This is not as bad as it looks. I've been doing CrossFit for the past couple weeks, and this is from the ring dips that we've been doing. So anyway, don't worry about that. Wow, some of these comments are very inappropriate. So yes, I'm going to film the airplane ride. I'm going to try to get as many interviews as I can, including with Charlie Duke, a moonwalker of the Apollo era, the youngest person to walk on the moon. So at the time. So that should be very exciting. Now let's add this to our stage here for a second and talk a little bit. These are the Amazon designs for their user terminal. Now, again, today we're talking about 2 prototype satellites that are going into low Earth orbit. These are not the same thing, but I wanted to just refresh your memory and show you what they look like again. And you're going to see that they look very similar to the Starlink terminals. So one of them is a very cute little terminal that they have posed next to a coffee cup in a rendering. And so, yes, and here we see the satellites are scheduled to launch into orbit via ULA. And that is what we are looking forward today in about 15 minutes. So this story I aired back in April. And so here we are, October 6th, 2023. Weather is 80% favorable, so we should be seeing that launch. But check out, this is the standard customer terminal, less than 11 inches square and 1 inch thick. And you know what? It looks pretty similar to Starlink. In fact, I'm going to pause it here because I made a comparison for Amazon and Starlink, and you can see, yeah, Tree Spire says Amazon satellite dish comes with a woodpecker. I mean, that'd be pretty cool. And yes, Anthony says he was looking for some information on Starlink. That's how he found Ellie in Space way back when. That's right. It was a while ago now, and it's been really interesting to see how the industry has changed and how much the channel has grown, which is awesome. Yes. Okay. So Keith says, professional recommendation. You should definitely live stream every major launch. It only serves to add to the Alien Space brand. I agree with that. And I think part of the reason I haven't, if I'm just being straight up honest with you, is because I get a little bit nervous soloing, I guess you could say. I'm used to interviewing the experts, and I don't consider myself an expert. So but you know what? Some of you guys have showed up today. I appreciate that. And I will keep doing it. So, you know, that is part of the reason why I haven't. But I think that they're an easy thing if you're going to be watching it alone. And I had one of my viewers tell me this. He's like, hey, I'm watching these launches alone. You might as well just stream it so that we can hang out and watch it with you. And I'm like, you know, maybe I shouldn't put so much pressure on myself. We can ad lib, we can read, you know, articles together, and hopefully it is a good time. Greg says, which do you hope succeeds most, Starlink or Amazon? No question is stupid. I think there's two parts to this question. Which do I think is likely to succeed the most? I think Starlink. I mean, obviously they have first mover advantage. They're already, you know, have a robust network. And so I'm not sure who's going to pick Amazon over Starlink. There will be some, but, you know, I think Starlink will be more successful. And I would say, you know, I hope that, you know, I feel like some people are very team SpaceX or team Blue Origin. You can't be in between. And I don't even think Elon's like that. I think that he wants to support, you know, as much, at least exploration into commercial space as we can have. And so I think that if more people, if Amazon can serve other people, why not? But yes, obviously I'm more excited about Starlink. But hey, you're interested because you're here too. So yes, Steve says he's looking forward to my 0G flight. It's fun to experience these things by proxy. Thank you for sharing. Off topic, but long hair is hilarious in microgravity. Yes, it will be very interesting. I was actually on the 0G website yesterday, just doing some research, and there's a video from several years ago now of Kate Upton in a bikini. Okay, now I lost like half my people. They're gonna go Google this. Kate Upton in a bikini on a 0G flight. She's just, you know, bouncing around, her beautiful curls. Maybe that's why I curled my hair today, because she had curled her hair, and it's a great video. She's also alone in the plane. So obviously that was a saw that shoot. Obviously that was a you know, a private endeavor there. Joe says competition is good. I hope they both succeed, and I would bet that Elon would feel the same way. So yes, thank you, Gregory. He says you have interviewed enough leaders in the space industry that you are extremely knowledgeable. Give yourself credit. Thank you. I think you're right. And, you know, I'm learning more every day. So, but I do my comfort zone. And in fact, I did an interview yesterday ahead of my 0G flight with Moondow. And, my comfort zone is definitely being the one asking you the questions. But it was good practice for me. I think it went pretty well. So here we have some B-roll of, the Project Kuiper team. I think there's about 1,000 people working on the Project Kuiper. So here we have a graphic showing, that the Kuiper system will again be in low Earth orbit, just like Starlink. And that has caused some conflict over the past few years. If you've been following the saga and the fight over certain bandwidths here. So am I kind of nervous for 0G? I just don't want to feel sick. And there's a possibility that I will. There are drugs that you can take, astronaut grade drugs, which I think I'm probably going to take. Thank you, Ross, for saying Moondow Space, X Space was excellent. Had a lot of fun with that. And we got to talk a lot about my kind of choice to leap into Ellie in space and quit TV news. So that was a very interesting part of the conversation that I was very open about. Yes, take the meds. Definitely plan to take the meds, but I'm pretty excited for this. So let's see what Green Tech Fusion Solar says. Amazon will probably be a good backup to Starlink, much better than the legacy satellite providers. I used to be in this space and it's brutal. The installers were slave labor. Okay, well that is not good. So let me pull up real quick the launch, because I can't act that one out. We're gonna have to pull up the actual launch here. And they are already doing, let's see here. I gotta share this screen really quickly. But this is exciting. I hope I had someone say, don't bother, the launch isn't gonna go today. Well, I think it is. So we are here to watch the live broadcast together. So let's share the screen. And we're going to play, and we're going to skip ahead to
we're targeting
B, which is where? Oh, I guess it's maybe
for NROL 107 on an Atlas 5 551.
Oh, wow.
Let's
see,
take a look.
I ramble too much, guys. T-minus 4 minutes and holding. Okay. So we didn't miss it, though. I mean, I'm not gonna brag, but I've been known to miss rocket launches. Well, they're right behind me. I'm sure you guys know the video that I am referring to. I gotta laugh at it. That short actually has over 500,000 views now, and for good reason. Some people are like, this is staged. No, it was not staged. It's just me trying to do too many things at once. So I want to know from you, because some of the comments were like, I am only here to watch the ULA launch. I don't care about the payload. I personally do, because I think that this is, the first step into seeing if Project Kuiper will actually be a rival to Starlink. That is, what the headlines are saying, but it's not a rival until it's actually competitive, and it's just not competitive yet. So I want to know if you guys are interested in Project Kuiper, and additionally, if you would choose the Amazon service over Starlink. I am curious. So let me know in the comments here, and let me read some of these comments. Tanya says, I do care about the competition to Starlink. John says, competition is great for everyone. I agree with that. Anthony says it will be a couple years before Amazon can start providing service. So, oh wow, Bimmer Geezer. Hello, thank you for joining. It's been a while since I've done a live stream, and you say great seeing you live again. You were the best on YouTube and X. Wow, that is very kind of you to say. Thank you very much. Yeah, I figured, I was like, I'm going to watch this in my office anyway, so why don't we just watch it together? And okay, so Michael says my space keeps freezing, so let me know if that is true, everyone. And yes, that's right. Pete 2.0, thank you for your $50 super chat, Bimmer Geezer. Thank you. Again, even a small amount of a super chat is beneficial. YouTube revenue has not been kind lately, and even X revenue is not all that great. But that is a totally different conversation. Okay, so let's tune into this for a second.
Hold. On channel 1, identify their station and briefly state the reason for the hold. Flight control, perform launch on time verification. Roger.
You guys think Bezos is in Florida right now? You think he's watching this live?
Flowing GN2 to the CISA.
Like in person?
Verified.
Of course he's watching it live.
OSM, verify the FCO, ROC, and OSM home fire switches are in the proceed position.
Why is that so hard to hear them? Jeez.
Ready to proceed.
Speak up.
RLM, verify red monitor event table are in the correct configuration for terminal count. Verified. RC, verify solar radiation acceptable for launch. Verified. Launch on time verified. Roger.
All right.
LC switches ready position. All steps are complete prior to the status check.
Woo! All steps are complete. Let me see if I can pull up my comments here. Proto flight. Yeah. All right. Let me pull up my comments. Bezos, who he's watching from his super yacht, probably.
We remain in the planned hold as we continue towards liftoff. In a few moments, launch conductor Scott Barney, marking his 50th launch as a ULA launch conductor, will pull the launch team for the final go to pick up the count. 29 engineers and managers are polled for system status and readiness to proceed. This is the final status check for all Atlas vehicle systems, ground systems, spacecraft, and the U.S. Space Force Eastern Range. The vehicle system readiness poll includes electrical systems, hydraulics, pneumatics, propulsion systems, flight control, and propellants. Let's listen in as Scott Barney performs the final polling.
-7 minutes.
Yeah. Someone
Status check to proceed with terminal count. Atlas systems, propulsion. Go. Hydraulics. Go. Pneumatics. Go. LO2.
Go.
Water.
Go.
Centaur systems, propulsion. Go. Pneumatics. Go. LO2. Go. LH2.
Go.
Has gas. Go. Electrical systems, airborne.
Go.
Ground. Go. Facility. Go. RFFTS. Go. Flight control. Go. GCQ. Go. Opsport. Go. Com. Go. Umbilicals.
Go.
DCS. Go. Red line monitor. Go. Quality.
Go.
Op safety manager. Go.
Go.
ULA safety ops. Go. Vehicle system engineer. Go. Anomaly chief. Go. Range coordinator. Clear to proceed. Launch director. You have permission to launch. Proceeding with the count.
Let's go. Chief Pete says bathroom. Go.
ALC, verify T0 is set for 1806. Verified.
Jeff, go. Jeff has left the building.
All
man.
complete prior to terminal count.
Polling is complete and the launch team is go for launch. From T-minus 4 minutes until liftoff, you'll hear Scott Barney and the launch team performing the final steps in the countdown procedure. Several critical activities occur in the final minutes before launch, including verifying fuel tank levels and pressures in the booster and Centaur, and arming the flight termination system. At T-minus 25 seconds, you'll hear Go Atlas, Go Centaur, Go Kuiper. This is the final status check of rocket and payload readiness. At T-minus 3 seconds, the main engine ignites. Then, after seeing Atlas V lift off the launch pad, you'll begin hearing flight commentator Rob Gannon providing launch vehicle ascent data.
All right. It's pretty exciting. Wish I were down there. Funny enough, John Krause, who is a photographer, said that media is using Starlink internet connectivity. He posted a photo of a terminal to, provide coverage. So media down at the Cape are using Starlink to provide coverage for the rival Project Kuiper. I thought it was kind of ironic and pretty funny, actually.
This is Atlas Mission Control at T-minus 4 minutes and holding. We anticipate releasing the hold in just a few moments.
Oh, wow. You make a great point, Ross. So Dr. Phil Metzger, one of my guests. Let's see.
1, mark.
Every time they
355.
talk, I'm like, I can't
Ground pyros enabled.
talk over them. Sorry. I don't know how invested you guys are in hearing every
The
word
countdown
they
clock
say.
has resumed, and we are go for launch at 2:06 p.m. Eastern.
Okay.
With liftoff approaching, we're going to raise the volume on our launch team so you can hear the final preps taking place.
Woo!
330. Atlas hydraulics at flight pressure.
Fabio's invested, so I'll be quiet. Oh, shoot. Jeez. Sorry. I have some props that I want to show you after. Wow, Michael, thank you so much for the super chat. Glad to finally chat with you. And
Pressurizing Atlas tanks.
I'll do more of these. These are
Securing
fun.
Bluetooth stopping.
I think you guys enjoy just,
250.
watching it together.
FCS internal.
Why is it so shaky? Do you not have a tripod? Okay, Derek says we just need to see the clock. We don't need to hear them. So Steve wants to know, I'm late to the party, but curious as to why Amazon partnered with ULA, perhaps to get their low orbit satellites into test ahead of a capable Blue Origin delivery system. So Blue Origin is a backup. Project Kuiper is actually partnering with several different providers, and there's a list of them on the website. ULA is just one of those, and they plan to do, I think, 77 launches. So we can look into some of that information in just a few minutes here.
159.
We're pretty close. Yes.
Vehicle internal.
Less than 2 minutes.
155. Launch sequencer start. 150.
Securing Centaur LH2.
Securing Centaur LO2. 140. Launch enabled. 137. FCS armed.
T-minus 90 seconds. The launch vehicle, payload, ground systems, and Eastern Range are go for launch. For those of you that just joined us, I'm Amanda Sterling, and I'm your host for today's live coverage of the Atlas V Project Kuiper protoflight launch.
Thank you, Chief
The
Pete.
team is not
for
working
the
any
super
issues at
chat.
this time, and we're on track for liftoff at 2:06 p.m. Eastern.
One minute. Rock, report range status.
Yeah.
Range green.
All right, guys, we're almost there. Less than almost 30 seconds. So we're almost. Thank you guys for the super chats, by the way. It
40 seconds.
really
Stable
helps
at
out.
3.
All right.
28. Verify ECS reduced for launch. Verify. Status check. Go Atlas. Go Centaur. Go Kuiper.
T-minus
Done.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We have ignition
Woo!
and liftoff of the United Launch Alliance Atlas V rocket, carrying the
Wow.
proto-flight mission for Amazon's Project Kuiper.
Wish I were there. Looks like such a nice day. Godspeed Bezos, that's right. Yeah. So much tamer than a heavier Starship launch. Yeah. Especially Starship. Graceful, slow liftoff because no SRBs. That's right. Ross, you know your stuff.
A minute in, everything looks good.
1 minute in, everything looks good, but
You're
Stop
hearing the
no.
voice of Rob Gannon providing launch vehicle
Vehicles
ascent
down.
Had
data.
to wait a little longer before
4
we
miles in altitude,
breathe.
3 miles downrange. Traveling at 1,250 miles per hour. Everything looking good. Mach 1. Vehicle's now supersonic. Max Q. That's it, max in and pressure. Coming up on our first throttle segment. And first throttle segment.
Okay, so Derek points out that this is launch number 99 of Atlas V. Okay.
What we're looking for is my closed loop guides.
What?
Operating normal.
A little bit garbled, some of this chatter. Now it's so quiet. I want to get your guys' opinion on something to do with Blue Origin, by the way, after this.
Closed loop guidance is in. Everything's looking good.
Wow.
Coming up our next throttle phase, we'll be limiting the
Beautiful.
acceleration to 2.5 Gs for payload bearing jets. Holding acceleration at 2.5 Gs, everything looking good. Inside of 2 minutes to BECO.
Chief Pete, you're right. It is a beautiful launch.
Everything looking good. Engine operating as expected. Smooth body rates. And vehicles pass through the
Kármán line.
Kármán line. We have exited the Earth's atmosphere. Coming up on fairing jet, we've had fairing jettison and CLFR deck jettison. Everything looks good, nice and smooth. We are throttling up. Inside of 1 minute to BECO. And we are less than a quarter of our liftoff weight at this time. And starting our 4G throttling, our G limiting phase of the mission. 30 seconds to BECO.
They look like they're having fun. So I want to know how many of you guys have watched the Dude Perfect video where
And boost
Kobe
phase
Cotton
2
goes
has been
to
in progress.
space.
Engine temperatures reducing as expected.
Yeah, they do look bored. There's a video of Kobe Cotton, a popular YouTuber, going to space on a Blue Origin flight.
Good.
And I want to know how many of you guys have seen that video.
Yeah, we had pre-start on fuel and locks. We had good staging, ignition, and full thrust. The Arlton is up and running normally.
I would love to guest narrate
Seeing good steady state
or
operating
host
parameters.
one
We've
of these
gone to
launches.
fixed angles on the PU system. Seeing the expected response and operating parameters on the engine, making a lock control system.
Okay, Brian saw that, so I'm gonna bring that up in a second. I'll explain why I bring it up. Let me put it in the chat here.
And we are now in the middle of a 10-minute, 12-second nominal burn of Centaur. We'll have a single burn to spacecraft separation.
This is Atlas Mission Control at T plus 5 minutes, 45 seconds. We just heard flight commentator Rob Gannon confirm the successful completion of the early phase of today's flight, and all systems continue to operate nominally. At this time, we'll end our live coverage. For more information on the Atlas V, visit ulalaunch.com. I'm Amanda Sterling, and thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. For one last look at today's liftoff, let's cut over to a look at the liftoff of the Atlas V rocket carrying the proto-flight mission for Amazon's Project Kuiper. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We have ignition.
Okay. So I'm going to turn it down a little bit. Sorry, guys. That was like really short. It always surprises me that they are like quick to get off of there. They do some pre-gaming and then you watch the launch and then they're done. They are done commentating. Yes. Okay. Bimmer Geezer has an Estes rocket and I am welcome to come and narrate the launch. Thank you for that. Yeah, I think it'd be cool to help narrate one of these things. So the reason why I ask and I share this here, hold on, let me go back here. Well, that was pretty cool. Thank you, by the way, for the super chats. The reason why I ask about the oh wow, you're going to be at Psyche next week. I don't think I'll be there. I posted this. So Dude Perfect is a very popular channel, and they were able to send one of the people, Kobe Cotton, to space through Moondow. The same people that are putting me on the 0G flight, they won a seat on a Blue Origin flight, New Shepard. So there is going to be another one of those seats up for grabs. Apparently someone won it. They couldn't get their visa or, their travel arrangements put together. And that is probably, we're expecting to see another Blue Origin launch allegedly sometime this month, not manned, after they've had quite a break. And then there's probably going to be this manned launch that one of those seats is up for grabs probably around the spring of next year, maybe February. And so I want to know from you guys, would you go on the Blue Origin flight? Do you think that it is safe? Is this something that, like, let's say you could win the seat, would you go on it? Or do you think that it's too risky? I'm really curious from you guys, because it's something that, I'm considering looking into. But I don't want to put myself in too much danger. By the way, since we're talking about the Project Kuiper launch today, we're talking about low Earth orbit and Starlink as well. This is a 3D printed OG Dishy McFlatface that one of my subscribers made and sent to me to my UPS box. So thank you so much for sending this to me. I think that this is pretty well done and looks like the real thing. So I was impressed with this. Now, most of you guys do not have this version. I have this version, the classic round Dishy McFlatface. So yeah, you guys are saying, okay, so most of you are saying that you would go. Some people say it's risky. No risk it, no biscuit, take the chance. Absolutely, I would go. Oh, the launch pad is watching. Thank you for watching. It's nice to see you here. And they're weighing in as well, saying, I think I trust New Shepard more now that I have seen it in operation, and its launch escape worked exactly like it should, even in the event of an anomaly, which you make a great point. So definitely something to think about. Yeah. So thank you for weighing in. But that is something to think about. If given the opportunity, I'd absolutely go. Virgin orbit launch is longer, cooler. Still do it if you can. I would pay. Okay, so you would want to watch a New Glenn launch. Not going to ride on a pogo stick, so abort makes it safe. I'd cancel at last moment. Yeah. I would require New Shepard to have a successful non-passenger flight before they have passengers again, which I'm sure they will do. So anyway, yeah, if it's not a little risky, it's not as exciting. So just something to think about, something that I've been thinking about. Wanted to. I just like to show you guys, show and tell all of the props in my office here. So press the button. This should turn on in a moment here. Maybe it has to warm up. Now this is the Starship humidifier. I was surprised how many people ordered these. Actually, I've had a couple offers for, affiliate programs, and, you have like your classic VPN. Sorry, it's like everyone's doing that, or like Athletic Greens. I'm not doing any of those. But this Stardesk reached out to me and asked if I wanted to partner with them. I think I got to put more water in it. But this is something that I assembled, and I really am impressed with it. I love the way that it turned out, and I want to thank all of you who ordered some. Even a lot of you sent me photos of your finished creation. So thank you for sending that. And okay, so you are saying that you want to get one. Let me just send you my link tree really quickly. But yeah, it's Friday. We had a successful launch. I wonder how long it will take to hear from Amazon. They do pretty good at putting together news releases about what they're working on. There is the link to this 3D printed Starship, actual venting Starship model, if you are curious. So thank you and yes, as we're talking about Starship, someone wants to know, Chief Pete, when is Starship going to launch? You guys, I don't know. Every time we think it's going to be something else comes up. We have the Fish and Wildlife Service delay right now that could take a month, that could take 3 months. So sorry. I don't know. It's part of the reason that I moved here, so that I can be closer situated. However, I think I'm going to be going down to Starbase pretty soon here. Speaking of affiliates, I had a company reach out to me. I haven't made the review yet because the product is still on the way, but they kind of have their own version of portable Starlink. It's called Nomad Internet, and it's basically like a little backpack that gives you internet anywhere. And one of the places that I have struggled the most to get good internet is at Starbase. So I'm kind of tempted. I still haven't driven my Tesla down to Starbase. I've been waiting for the Starship launch, and we're still waiting. So I think when I get that, I'm going to do my review down at Starbase and hopefully be able to stream for you guys, and it'll look crystal clear and beautiful. So yes, some of you guys are guessing November. I feel really bad for those of you who don't live close to here and want to plan a trip out here. And it's just really hard to do unless you have extreme flexibility. Even the launch, for example, back in April, the Monday launch scrubbed. So if you made your plans and you couldn't stay past Monday, you're screwed. But that's just something you have to get used to if you want to, get into watching rocket launches. Thank you, Ross, for the super chat. You say that you hope I win a seat on a New Shepard flight one day, Ellie. Until then, you win a UK Customs cashback. Thanks. Thank you for the super chat. Yeah, So the Moondao folks were like, hey, we're going to have this be raffled again. Someone won, but they're not able to go. So if this is something you're interested in, maybe you should put your hat in the, in the ring. Or and I initially thought no, because I thought it's just too scary and it's too risky. But lately I've been thinking that I might really regret it if I don't go. So, yeah, I'm just curious what you guys, if you take cost out of it and, you could go in a week, would you go? I actually met Sarah Sabri, who is the first Egyptian woman to go to space, right? They passed the Kármán line. And I met her a few weeks after down at KSC, and she won her seat and had 2 weeks to prepare mentally. And they called her and said, hey, you won. So get ready to go to space, girl. But watching the video was really cool of the other YouTuber. You just see his whole, process from finding out that he won, and the day of, and his friends and family being there, and their own sort of, anxiety and nervousness. And obviously it went great. So I think, I think it would 100% be a life-changing experience. And I feel like if there's a good time in your life to do it, it's probably before you have kids. But I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm speaking too much as if I'd get selected, but if you're going to enter things, you have to think that way a little bit. So a lot of you guys are saying, I said KSC, not KFC. Thank you guys for the super chats and for the support. Oh, okay. So someone says, only go into space as long as I don't have to come back. Do it. I would go. Yeah. So you know what, Anthony, you ask a good question. Any plans to visit the McGregor site? I've been hearing more and more about it, and it's actually not that far from me. The only problem is that you can't, there's no schedule for when they do the engine testing. So, but I think I might go out there soon, just because why not? At least I can get some footage of it, maybe do a live stream out there. In fact, if I were to do that, would you watch a live stream, even if it were something similar to my ground station tour, where I'm literally just showing you what it looks like? If that's something you'd watch, probably go out there, because I think it's only about an hour and a half, but we could get lucky, go out there, and then have them do a test while I'm out there. Apparently, it scares the cows a lot. I actually have someone in my CrossFit class who lives near there, and he said the first time SpaceX did the testing, no one knew what was going on, and it was just so loud, and the cows were freaking out. And so yeah, it would be cool to go out there. So you guys say you'll watch the live stream, so I think I might do it, because I've been looking for, it's frustrating because there's so much stuff on the horizon, the Cybertruck delivery event, the Starship launch, but again, it's just a waiting game. So I should explore some other things. But yes, I think that I might go down to Starbase again soon. So if there's something you want me to look for while I'm down there, something that you want me to investigate while I have boots on the ground, let me know, because I'm excited to go back down there. I feel like it's been too long. Yes, Uncle Yukon says NSF McGregor live, no schedule for tests and not a lot of places to watch the test from. Yeah, so well, I think it's still maybe worth going around there. I don't know. Even if I do interview the people that live around it, sometimes I want to do my kind of news type of reporting where, I make like a news report. I interview the locals, right? Maybe that's something you guys would be interested in. But yeah, well, thank you guys so much for hanging out with me on this Friday. I hope that you guys have a great rest of your day. And I guess we will just have to, I will stream more of these launches. If you guys liked it, let me know. I appreciated you joining me on this launch today. And yeah, first step for Amazon to actually make Project Kuiper a rival to Starlink. The proto flight, the 2 Kuiper prototypes. And in fact, Ross brought up a good point. There's so many comments. I wish I could just get back to Ross's here for a second. Let's see. I'm almost there. Interesting. So here's some of the comments that were right before the launch. There is a lawsuit from the Amazon shareholders that it was not fiscally responsible to use ULA as their launch provider. Right, because they did not want to use SpaceX. And yes, Amazon has even been sued because Bezos has refused to use Falcon 9. So, not surprising there. Okay, so here's Ross's comment from earlier. ULA is launching 2 Kuiper sats today because these prototypes have reached the technology readiness level 9. Good job, you were paying attention. And this scale was explained by Dr. Phil Metzger, a planetary scientist at UCF, on a past Alien Space live stream. So you are a good student. You have watched live streams, and that's right. Dr. Metzger gave a great example of this scale, which has, many different levels, and how they reached the point where they were ready to fly. So, I think an exciting day. It's always nice to see a launch. It was a beautiful launch. I wish I had been there in person, but I also wish that I had been at the Mars Society conference. And so I will be likely making a trip to Starbase pretty soon here. So hopefully you guys enjoy that. But thank you guys. I hope that you have a great rest of your day, and I will see you pretty soon.